Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I'm making sure share this out to your networks right now. Let's get this thing live. Let's talk some football today. Sharing it out there, putting it out on my story. Villain Squad on Facebook. Villain Squad on YouTube. We do this live every Saturday morning, usually at 10 a.m. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of the late start today. But good morning to everybody. If you can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth right now, welcome back to the Villain Report, where smoke screens get torched, weak takes get pancaked, and the truth wears Honolulu blue. Now listen, big man, Frank the Tank has officially hung it up. No more Sunday maulings from number 77, so what now? What now? I'll tell you what, the interior offensive line has become a straight-up battlefield heading into training camp. Glasgow, Mahogany, Kayode, Sorsdal, even Giovanni Manu, sprinkling some rookies. Tate Ratledge, Miles Frazier. That's like 7 men for 3 spots. That's a war. We're going to break that down today. And don't even get me started with the secondary. Don't even get me started with the secondary. They've been talking Ennis Rakestraw. You know, you still got Kerby Joseph, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, DJ Reed. That's depth. That's a dogfight. Who's going to be the DB1? Bring some violence. Bring some vision. And speaking of vision, this episode is brought to you by our partners at Fanatics. And if you want to rep the squad with the same heat as the villain, hit the link in the description. As a matter of fact, let me get that in there. Right there. Hit that link in the description. You can save up to 25% off of your order by using the affiliate link. So buckle up. The path to the NFC North crown ain't going to be handed out. It's got to be earned trench by trench, snap by snap. Let's get it started. I'm not doing this alone today. I'm going to bring on Johnny Gaz. He's in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing today? Happy Saturday. How the Tigers doing, man?
Gosh, it's awesome, man. I had to get some of that the highlights up last night. It's badass.
Kerry Bonds coming through in the clutch, eh? What a great day that was yesterday against the Cubbies, man. I love when the Tigers play a classic team, you know, like Cubs, Cardinals. You know, it's a great look, and it's great to get a win on a Friday night at Comerica Park, man. It's always good.
Well, there's Johnny Gaz right there. You can go to Johnny Gaz Sports on YouTube right there. That's free. We love it when you take advantage of free, and free is good. And you offer some good content over there. And I know that there's some things that you want to get off your chest.
Yeah.
And I want to give you that space right off the bat, because I don't want to. I got some things that we can talk about, but this is the same stuff that we're going to probably be talking about for the whole off season. So if you got something to get off your chest, go ahead and do that.
I appreciate you. Listen, I love what we do. And thank you for giving me just a second. I love talking Lions football with everybody, and through your channels and through my channel, and it's been awesome since we've gotten together and done this. And to have the platform that you've provided for me is, again, I'm so grateful for that. This Frank Ragnow retirement, I feel like, has brought out the negativity in droves with Lions country this last week. And I, admittedly myself, I came out and said that I ran with a couple stories prior to the retirement that maybe I shouldn't have, and I admitted fault to that. And it is what it is. Ultimately, it's Frank Ragnow retiring, and we're going to talk about that moving forward. That's the bottom line. But I can't tell you how many Lions fans have taken this retirement angle and basically flipped the organization on its head. We didn't go 15-2 last year, apparently. We didn't have a depleted defense. We don't have a quarterback that can take us to the promised land. We don't have potentially the best head coach in football. We don't draft well anymore. Brad Holmes is awful. I can't tell you how many things I've heard this week from people calling themselves Lions fans. I don't know if that's reality, guys. I think this is an overreaction to the retirement angle. For as much crap as I've been getting about being wrong about the Burkett story, I didn't hear any of those same people come and find me on those shorts we had prior to the retirement. So as smart as you are today, you weren't that smart 3 days ago. So don't come at me and tell me that I'm the worst content creator you've ever found in your life because we all ran with the same story 3 days prior. I have an issue with that because, again, we're all Lions fans. We're all here to celebrate the team and where we're at today, tomorrow, and in the future. And I will continue to be honest and report what I find as legit news every single day. And if that news changes the next day, I'll come out again and be honest with you if something changes. That's life, guys. That's life. That's the NFL. That's what happens. And again, I'm here for any kind of Lions talk you want. If you would disagree with me, with the villain, we're here for it. That's why we do this, to have good, honest conversations. You don't have to agree with any of my takes. You don't have to even watch my content. But let's be honest to each other when we have conversations. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, right, man? And it's getting to me a little bit. But you know what? We're here on a Saturday. I'm positive. I'm going to continue to be positive, live by the golden rule. You know what? If I find content on Facebook that I don't agree with, I typically scroll past it. But you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. So thank you for letting me speak for 2 minutes. And again, Russell, I appreciate the platform you've provided. And I'll always love the Lions no matter what happens. And I'll be here for you from here on out. So it's just, I appreciate you, man. Go Lions.
You've had enough of that shit.
Word.
Hey, you got to get it out there sometimes. But the thing is what I realize after doing this for a while is the more people that think that I suck means that the more people that are watching. And they're watching and, who cares what I think? Honestly, who cares?
Yeah, my word means nothing to anybody, even my wife. So, let's talk about it.
Couple years ago when I started doing this, we did all trash talk, man. It was a bloodbath on here with a lot of the people. But the thing is like some people like that, the small percentage of people like that, and that's why I let it in a little bit. But the thing is the vast majority of people just want to talk good football.
Yeah.
And there's an unpopular opinions that are out there that, to me, and when we talked about it on Tuesday with some of the reels that you came out with our recording session from Tuesday, I kind of predicted this. I'm like, where are you going to be? Where is that line going to be for you? Because we got caught with the egg on our face. We did what media thing, and I'm just admitting it. And that's kind of where we were at. It's like, it was handled beautifully. Honestly, it was only the media that did it, and they put it out there in the wrong way, and they messed it up. And to me, a good media person is going to just go, oh, okay, we got that wrong. Oh, we did. Oops. Had nothing to do with contract. Oh my God, it had nothing to do with this other thing. And it's okay. It's okay. We didn't have that story to run with all summer long. He didn't leave us hanging. He went out and tried to do rehab and tried to get the foot ready. And it got to a point where he's like, listen, I got to retire because it's not working the way that it was working. He went out there on a fractured throat and played a game and, had knee surgery on something that should have taken like 4 to 6 weeks and was out there the next week, was like, put me in, coach. And you're out there. Really, if you have the balls, if you have the balls to criticize Frank Ragnow for retiring early and you want to say it's over a contract, that's on you.
Mhm.
That's on you because you know it isn't true. I mean, if there was a contract talk, we've already talked about what that actually would have been. The only reason they would be even negotiating any contract, if he would have came back, they would have renegotiated that contract. There's zero chance they would have had him go into the season with zero guaranteed money.
That's the thing. That's the thing right there. It's like you it's not unfathomable to think that before the whole retirement angle, and he seemed to be healthy coming out of last year. I mean, healthy to Frank Ragnow's extent. We know what he was playing through, but I felt better of him this offseason than I did the prior one. So at that point, you're thinking, well, there could be some discussions about a contract. Because like you said, it was no guaranteed money, and that's hard to play on. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that's a huge. So it's not crazy to think that that could have been the case. And then we get the news, which was after June 1st, which saves some cap. So the time frame makes sense. It all kind of came full circle. Sorry, buddy.
No, I mean, no, we're having a conversation. The thing is like, think of the timeline. Get out of your feelings. If that's your take, I want to help you. I don't want to. I mean, you know, they may be coming at you, Johnny, but let's help them. Let's try to help them because the information came out. This isn't like there's just like some kind of knee-jerk reaction type of thing. You could tell if you go back to look at Dan Campbell's press conference, the way that he was talking about before the retirement. That he was putting it out there. He was teeing it up for everybody to do it in the right way, and the media was the media. And it's funny. He teed it up perfectly. I'm in perfect conversation with all of these guys. We have a great relationship. The communication is great. Yeah. And then they ran with this off story, messed it up, and then Frank comes out and retires, and it looks like a knee-jerk reaction when it wasn't. You know, it was timed perfectly. It's June. He retired what? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Like you're talking 4 days after the mark where it helps the team with the timing of it. And that's probably what they said in their private conversations was like, Frank, you know, we're giving you all the space in the world, you know, after June 1st, that's where it really hits. Somewhere in that vicinity, we would like you to give us some kind of decision so we can go into training camp with either a competition or knowing that you're going to be here. And everything was executed flawlessly, and it needs that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Great relationship from the Detroit Lions organization. This is unlike the way they treated Barry Sanders. This wasn't Barry Sanders, faxing in his retirement. This was well thought out talk between Dan Campbell and Frank Ragnow for months, open communication for months and months and months. They knew that it was, and they even kept it under wraps and didn't let any of the media know until it was close. And the media was the media. And we messed up. And the media people that own it, to me, that's where I respect you. If you're still going with this money hungry Frank Ragnow just wants to be the highest paid, if you're still going with that, shame on you. That's on you, man. At this point, it's already been told.
Yeah, I think Dan called it disrespectful, right? He looked right at Burkett and said it was disrespectful. I mean, it was very clear,
especially after the way that he was here in what he gave for this team, playing under the regime of, Quinn and Patricia, and never complaining, always just coming to work, being a top 5 center in the league every year. Didn't matter what regime, that's what he was. And that just deserves to be respected. I bought his jersey. I didn't just buy his jersey to be some, I bought his jersey because I respect the offensive linemen. That's why was my favorite player. That's why it hurts the villain so bad that he retired. I mean, that's a giant hole that you have to fill, which brings us to part number 2. Here is the offensive line Royal Rumble. Now, I love Frank. I love it. Am I worried about Hank Fraley's offensive line getting it together. Like right now, my mind's in a scramble, but I know they'll have it together by the time the season starts with the guys they brought in. They were ready for this. They showed that they were ready for this by how they drafted. And let's break down this battle royal right here to help replace Ragnow at center. And who's starting at both guard spots? Let's spotlight right here. Let's Graham Glasgow, Mahogany. You know, you got Tate Ratledge. You brought in Miles Frazier. You got even Sorsdal. And, I mean, you could even sprinkle in Giovanni Manu right here, Johnny Gaz. So give me your thoughts on what is this battle going to be like in training camp, brother?
Yeah. Let's. I'm stick with you here. I'm looking at some of the comments that were coming through as you were talking here, and I think they're all going that same direction. Is what do the Lions do now on the interior? Because here's the deal: you lose Frank and Jared Goff. His effectiveness is lowered when he has pressure in his face, and to think that you got to remake the interior line, it's a problem. So but I agree with you in the sense that I think they will work this out. I'm kind of halfway between were they prepared for this or were they not, because drafting the two guards I love, and I think you're going to be able to shift those guys and make this thing work. But I agree kind of with what Broski said, is they had an opportunity last year to take Jackson Powers Johnson, I think the kid's name is, out of Oregon, and they didn't do it. And then they had a chance again this year to take some centers, and they didn't do it as well. Now, if that was them saying, well, we know what Tate Ratledge can do, then fine. Then I'm good with that. But I also think that there may have been some time this offseason that they were allowing Frank to think about what he wanted to do. They put the time stamp on it of June 1st. We need to figure this out, make a decision. And then they moved forward. That's just my opinion. I could see it both ways. I think you could argue taking the two guards was the answer. But to move this thing forward, yes, we have a battle royal of interior offensive line competition. And the way I see this playing out is Graham Glasgow, I think, is your center until Tate Ratledge is ready to take that spot. I think it would benefit the Lions to keep him at center, have the continuity, have the calls, the shifts, everything play in your favor until Ratledge is ready to step in and then control the offensive line. So that means he would start at right guard. Mahogany would be your left guard, and Miles Frazier then is your kind of interior backup. That's how I see it playing out initially, but I also wouldn't be upset if Tate Ratledge just shows that he's the guy, and then they plug him in the center, and then Graham and Miles compete for your right guard, and I still think Mahogany is your left guard to move forward with. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that sounds great. We do have Kayode Awasika too, who has been here, and this guy's played in playoff games. I mean, I just think the competition's going to be fierce. So I don't think that you're going to replace Graham Glasgow 1-for-1.
Right.
That isn't going to happen. But last year, the interior as a whole, like especially where Glasgow was playing last year, he did not have a good year last year. So that is not Glasgow to me. In the best case scenario right here is Tate Ratledge. I mean, he's been repping the entire time. Is that your second round draft pick wins that job over Graham Glasgow and is your starting center day one. I think that's the best case scenario. And Mahogany earned his spot last year. I think that was evident by letting Zeitler go, that Mahogany was going to get that crack right there. So I think that you're feeling it right there. Mm-hmm. But I think the outliers right here is Colby Sorsdal. I haven't heard anything about him. Maybe he just gets squeezed out of this situation, but he was a 5th-round draft pick. He's going into a contract year. And then Giovanni Manu.
There it is.
We're sitting here wondering why they're giving him guard reps during, when they went out. And now that this has all happened, it seems like some of these answers are more clear. Why the hell is Tate Ratledge taking center snaps?
Do you put anything into them picking up this Tristan Colon from Arizona, or is he just fill in a guy at center because they need a third, string center to play?
Yeah, I mean, you need a body in there. I mean, I guess from what it's been reported out there, it's a good signing, but it's like it didn't move needles there. I still believe in the guys that are here. Kingsley. I can't. What's a
Igakwen, dude. I had to look it up. I had to research it because Igikin. It's Kingsley Igakwen.
Yeah, you're better at those names than I am. But he's an outlier just by somebody that's been in the system for a few years that has actually been on the practice squad and just wasn't the spot wasn't available because you're not going to take Frank the Tank's job. But now that he's not there, I mean, does that spot go to Kingsley? So it's not. I mean, I love the Christian Mahogany is in there. That's something that I think is going to upgrade immediately. He played fantastic by the time he went in there. I mean, he only played in 2 games, but it was very obvious that the pro game wasn't too fast for him anymore, and that he was developed and they're ready to go. He was the best offensive lineman on either team, even in the playoff game. But it was the other side of the interior that let us down right there. So Broski's making predictions. He doesn't believe that a rookie can learn a new position in a complex offense. I mean, that could be true, but what if he does? I mean, that's what they're in there. They're going to teach him the offense. But, I mean, if your floor is Graham Glasgow being your center, he knows all the communications. That's not an awful floor.
No.
I mean, I'm sure that he wants to have a better season than he did last year. It's like not everybody has to regress. I think that he knows that he didn't have a good season last year, but he has experience at center. If that's your floor, then all the other guys are going to fall in. I mean, there's 7 guys right there that I listed off. It's not like they have nobody there, Glasgow versus Ratledge. So who's going to win that job? I mean, I think you're right. I think that Glasgow is a lock for one of them. If Ratledge wins the center job, then I think Glasgow is going to be right next to him, either on the right or the left, wherever it is, because you have to have the veteran that's out there. I don't know that there's a world where they're going to throw out Mahogany, Frazier, and Ratledge day one.
Yeah,
with Glasgow.
Yeah, I don't think they're putting Glasgow out there because they know like he's physically dominating folks anymore, but it's really more continuity calls, protection, scheming, because it's going to change things. It changes your approach to your interior rushing attack. I think especially up front in the season, it's going to be interesting to see. I bet you it's just power to Penny's side all the time. Just run the ball to his side as much as you possibly can. Use Mahogany. I'm nervous, Villain. I don't know why, man, but I'm nervous about the interior. I think it'll figure itself out. I'm not saying that they won't work this out, but it makes me nervous for the beginning of the season. I felt they were kind of weak up front as far as pass pro the first 3 weeks of the season. And it just makes me nervous to think you got 3 different guys now in the same exact situation. They probably won't play a whole bunch once they figure out who the starters are. And then you're picking this all up on week 1, and you know what the schedule looks like. Again, I'm not negative. I think they still recoup. I think they can find a way through this, but I'm nervous.
And there we go. I had to take the comments off because the trolls have taken over our comment section, and it is. I know we want to have Lion fans on here, and if we got Broski and John in there just arguing with all of our people out there, our people don't want to argue with stupidity, guys. We're just trying to talk about our team right here. How many sacks will Decker give up? Well, Decker was in the Pro Bowl last year. So he's one of the best tackles in football. Decker is better than any tackle that's on the Green Bay Packers. Decker is better than any tackle that's on the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Taylor Decker is still one of the best tackles in the league. Now, again, you know, they have guys behind them that they're confident in, and they're going to build to that. But right now, there's no reason to think Taylor Decker doesn't have another a Pro Bowl type season. So I'm confident in that. I guess the question would be the guard next to him, who's that ultimately going to be, right? But you know, we'll see how that works. But I'm confident in that. I'm confident in the tackles. No problem there.
So seven guys right there. Oh, Johnny, Detroit is soft. Oh my gosh.
We were pretty soft week 8 last year, weren't we, bro?
Yeah.
Pretty soft.
Yeah. And they're gonna flex. Here's a Packer flex. The Commanders beat you. It's like, you can't beat us. It's like Dan Campbell has a jar with Matt LaFleur's soul in it, and it's sitting up on his, and every day he grabs, you know, a little 1 ounce, throws it into his cappuccino with a double shot of espresso. And he drinks a little bit more of Matt LaFleur's soul because he owns him. He owns him.
How about this comment? How about that one? I've heard this so much this week. This is the one, man. Okay. You did it, John. You did it, bro. You proved my point. You just proved my point. The Lions window is closed. How open is the Packers window? And do you guys even have windows in your house? Okay. That is incredible. That's incredible. The Lions window's closed. What do you think, Villain? Are we done?
Rick C says John needs to get off the drugs. Right in there. Oh. Hey, John, I wanted you to know something.
Still love you, John.
John Dorn, because this is the only reason why I'm entertaining all this stuff. I was going back through and through some of the old stuff, and I screen recorded a couple of conversations that you had that prove that you're nothing but a Welch.
He did research.
A Welch, yeah. He made a bet. He made a bet that when the Lions would win the division, that he wouldn't use same old Lions or Fool's Gold Line. And here, this jackass is out here trying to make a hashtag Fool's Gold Line. It didn't work 2 years ago. It didn't work last year. You guys are starting to sound like Bear fans. You know, you just make up, oh, I guess it's Caleb Williams that's going to kick my ass. I mean, Justin Fields is, it's Mitch Trubisky's going to, Jay Cutler. It's, you guys just run the same shit over and over and over again. At least when we sucked, we knew we sucked.
I think John knows he's working you up now. Now it's just good. Now it's out of control. Holmes runs a circus. I love it. Good. You're right. You're right. It's awful.
Man, that's funny. Anyway, back into what we were going to talk about. And so we covered the depth chart. We got Glasgow versus Ratledge versus Mahogany versus Manu versus Frazier versus Kayode versus Colby Sorsdal. 3 guys are going to come out of that scrap heap and then be on top. The next thing that I wanted to get to was the lockdown corner watch right here. And, the Lions just went out and spent, what was it, $18 million a year? Is that what they did? That they got DJ Reed for?
I thought it was 11, but I'll get you exact.
No, it was definitely at least 18. I thought it was either 16 or 18. And they spent this money on him. You got Terrion Arnold. Now, the talk of the camp has been Ennis Rakestraw. I hear it from Dan Campbell. Brad Holmes brings him up. You got players bringing him up.
Yeah, you're right. 16. It was 16 million. 16 million average.
$16 million a year. And then DJ Reed comes in. So, what happens here? This is interesting. Are there any of the cornerback or I mean, I'm pretty sure that Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch are pretty safe.
Woo.
Like, but I think that those two guys are going to be locked into the back of the secondary. But, you know, Terrion Arnold, I think that's pretty safe, right? Now, in the other spots, you still got Amik Robertson. Now, Ennis Rakestraw, our second-round draft pick from last year, has been getting the talk. Like, he has a shot to win the starting job opposite of Terrion Arnold. So where does that leave DJ Reed? Where does that leave Amik Robertson? What are your thoughts on Ennis Rakestraw making the most out of his offseason?
I love the amount of playmakers you just listed off right there in the secondary. I mean, that's about as good as talent-wise that the Lions have. Now, will that compute to the regular season and play forward? That's the biggest question. But what I see is DJ Reed sort of being the captain of the squad here right now as they continue to build Terrion Arnold into this, hopefully, number one cornerback. So I think this is the year where you kind of see him supplant to the number one, but I don't see it starting that way. So I got DJ number one, Terrion number two. Behind him is where I think it gets really interesting. But as far as like a nickel cornerback, that's got to be one of the best competitions here in camp is Amik Robertson, Ennis Rakestraw. Can one of those guys separate themselves to where they're the clear starter, or they just say, look, we're just going to rotate. We got 3, 4, 5 defensive backs that we can play in any situation, different size, speed, character. You know, I mean, the way Terrion plays compared to Amik is a lot different. So you got guys with different skill sets that you can mix and match against opponents. Let's say Minnesota, the lack of talent in Green Bay, what they're going to do in Chicago, you know, all that stuff. So I feel very good about this unit. I think this may be the under talked about unit in the Lions roster, because if this is exactly what you've described, it makes their defensive line better. It, you know, they play off each other, it gives you more time, vice versa. It's a really good problem to have.
I mean, if you could take somebody like, you know, Justin Jefferson, who Amik Robertson put the locks on last year, and then you can isolate, just have him, and that frees up for, you know, like a Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed to go wrong. I mean, the possibilities are endless right here. So because the talk right now is that Kelvin Shepherd has got this defense bought in to whatever Kelvin Shepherd's got going on right now. And I think that the Lions defense is going to be a top 10 defense this year. And I think that you could write down top 10 defense, and it might be one of the best defenses in football when it's all said and done. Yeah. Without going out and spending $40 million extra dollars on a pass rusher. Yes. A top 10 defense. And I'm calling it right now. Kelvin Shepherd. And like I've said before, Johnny, this isn't Aaron Glenn's fault. This is not me saying that Kelvin Shepherd is a better coach than Aaron Glenn. This is Kelvin Shepherd being in a perfect storm, in a perfect situation, at a perfect place and time when he got his promotion, right when Jack Campbell was going into his third season, and Brian Branch was going into his third season, and Kerby Joseph was going into his fourth season, and Terrion Arnold figured it out. All of these things moving in the same direction. Aaron Glenn didn't have that. He didn't have a developed Terrion Arnold or a Brian Branch or a Jack Campbell. You know, he had to develop it. Now Kelvin Shepherd gets to have this. He gets to have a fully healthy Aiden Hutchinson coming back is one of the best pass rushers in football, with one of the most lethal secondaries in the NFL.
But Villain, they didn't address the other edge. What are we gonna do?
What does everybody else do? They get edges that can fill the void and can do a job, and they have that. They have guys that are good against the run that can do that other side. It was doing just fine. The edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson was doing just fine when Aiden Hutchinson was there.
True. Very true.
I don't think that you're going to find another guy. I mean, if you want to go get another guy that's going to take 90% of the snaps, I guess we could keep 5 less, pass rushers on our roster. But hey, I said what I said. You guys don't have to argue with me. You know what I love about my fans in here is they go after them. Right here, I don't have to go after Dorn with his dummy comments, or in nonsense.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
But they go in there, and it's it's not that far fetched. It's not that far fetched to think of that. Hutchinson will never be the same. He'll be better. He'll be better. When you get fully cleared, from your therapy, that means that you're ready to take it. It's a 6-month injury.
Hey, you know what? Barry brings up a good point. He goes, is there going to be a linebacker battle for spots? What with the Malcolm Rodriguez news, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I thought we'd have him sooner than what they were saying. Dan Campbell said November. Do you think this creates an issue at linebacker or a competition for depth?
Well, I mean, didn't we have a conversation a few months ago talking about, man, why they have 9 linebackers?
Yeah.
They kept so many linebackers. I mean, I think you got opportunity for guys like Grant Stewart. I mean, this guy has done nothing but be a stud everywhere where he's got an opportunity, and he's only had little opportunities. But last year for the Indianapolis Colts, Grant Stewart had an 18 tackle game.
He did.
But that doesn't, I mean, I'm sorry. That's an outlier, right? Is that just him? I mean, what does he suck every other part, and all of a sudden he's just he becomes Ray Lewis for one game and then he falls off again? Yeah. No, I think that a guy like Grant Stewart is going to relish in this type of opportunity.
Yeah. I remember guys like Ezekiel Turner and Trevor Nowaski, guys that actually filled in well. I'm not saying they're an answer to anything, but they're guys that are going to compete for those linebacker depth spots. I do still feel good about the linebacking crew, even with Rodriguez. That's sort of going to be to me, I'll look at that as sort of like a free agent pickup midway through the season that they can then plug and play. As you know, I mean, the NFL is a game of attrition, so I don't think they're going to have 18 to 22 players injured, but they'll have a few. So it'll be nice to get him back midseason.
And don't forget, we just got Derek Barnes back. So you got Derek Barnes, Anzalone, and Jack Campbell as your starters. So, I mean, what are we really talking about? We're talking about our number 1 reserve linebacker. That is something, but we do have other players that could step into those spots. And Broski does make a good comment right there. I mean, losing Anzalone would be a big deal. I don't think that we're going to lose Anzalone though. But I think that we'll lose Anzalone after this year for sure.
Yeah.
But Jack Campbell stepped up, man. I mean, Jack Campbell's arrived, man. This guy is top 10 linebacker by every PFF metric last year. And don't just go to PFF and Google. You have to make sure that the players that are ahead of him have played at least 50% of the snaps. Mm-hmm. To make it fair. You have to itemize that. Don't go there and start telling me guys are better than Jack Campbell's because they played 25 snaps at a better PFF grade.
Yeah, I agree. And Mike hit it on the chat as well. I think Barnes is kind of your untapped resource here because they had so much faith in what he was going to do in 2024. And that injury in Arizona, that was such a setback to the whole linebacking crew. And then we don't know what else happened. So I think getting him back is a huge part of this because he not only plays a good linebacker, he can get off the edge. So you talk about ways to work that in. That's a guy you're going to get some production out of.
You like that? I love that take right there. So, I mean, if they did lose Anzalone, having Barnes would minimize that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he's different. than Anzalone. They're
He's not
very,
a
very
field
different
guy.
players.
Yeah.
But I like the Grant Stewart pickup. That's going to be my name drop for that conversation. Let's get in here. The Lions, fanatics.com. If you use those links right there, just know that you're supporting the show, and we appreciate that. Like this is mom and pops right here. This is like the villain, Russ, me. I'm the one that does it. Like, and Johnny, he does it. We don't have a full editing team or everything like this. We do all the work. We make all of the content. And
all the edits you see, all the graphics you see, everything, and Villain, you do an amazing job. You post more than most, and everything has good information, timely, and it takes a lot of work, man. So I give you a lot of credit.
And I'm working on my troll game. We're working on the troll game. Yeah, I appreciate you, Rick C, Mike. Yes, for sticking in here with Broski and the evil empire and Dorn. Dun, 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 dun. That's right. Mm-hmm. I think my cord's going bad. That's why I'm getting all that.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah. Oh my gosh. Man. John, the fact that you have the balls to call me soft after you ghosted, after you lost your bet, and you didn't even honor it. You didn't even honor it for the rest of the season. I could have dealt with it if you jumped right back on same old Lions, after the season was over, we get into the next season. No, you didn't even let the season play out.
You didn't even ask.
You're
the
soft.
question.
You talk about me soft, man. You're so soft, and now you're gonna come in to the comments, and that's all you're ever gonna be, is a little comment guy. My little bitch in the comments. That's right. Ooh, poor Dorn. Poor Dorn. I have some pretty good incriminating stuff against him and Robert Bertan. I found it last night. I had to go. We do so many trash talking shows. I had to go back and find it, but that's funny.
We should do something interesting on the Green Bay week. You know what I mean? We'll create a game. It'll be good.
That's right. Yeah. You got booted because you are a Welch. You're a Welch. Like, I don't honor people. There's no honor amongst thieves. And if you can't honor simple bets, I've been on here. I'm an Ohio State fan. So I've been on here for like 4 years in a row when Mike was clowning me when I lose my bets wearing Michigan gear, honoring my bets. I just don't deal with Welches, man. That's not it's not me. It's not me being soft. It's just me having character and honoring my bets. I want to deal with better Packer fans that would honor their bets, like when they lose, when they make it fun for the other team. I've been the butt of your joke for 8 years. You get to be the butt for the joke, and when you run away when it's your turn to be the butt of the joke, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, but this is the Lion Villain Report. You can join me each and every morning. That's during the season. But the off season, here we are, 10 a.m. every Saturday during the off season, talking Lions football with the occasional trolls. And there we go. But I'm gonna have to say goodbye to Johnny. Johnny's gonna head out.
I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, I gotta get some things done medically, but I appreciate you. And we'll get together soon, man. I always appreciate talking Lions with you, buddy. Every Saturday, 10 o'clock. Good stuff.
Excellent. That's Johnny Gaz right there. Make sure that you go and check out his YouTube page right there. That's absolutely free. He does put out very good content. He's very informative. And right there, you can use that QR code right there, or you can use the link. I think it did go into the chats. Hopefully, it did. No, it didn't. Let's try this again. Sometimes it does that. I think it's because when it's posting to all of them, you have to give it a second. Let's see if it goes in there now. Did that happen now? Oh, gosh. Dang it. Let's try it one more time. I'm sorry. Trying to get Johnny some love out there. And it just has it going in there. But anyway, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I don't know if any of you guys are into but the Money in the Bank, but we have changed our format just a little bit because the 313 villain is also going to encompass the other teams in the 313, like the Tigers and the Pistons and the Red Wings, because I'm trying to survive during the off season. But I'm also a wrestling fan. Money in the Bank is tonight, and I always love Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, you get a ladder match. And the winner of that ladder match gets a contract that he can face the world title at any time, which means that you can attack him from behind after he's already had a hard match and challenge him for the title anytime, anywhere. Always like that. Always like that. So, Seth Rollins has teamed up with Paul Heyman. The villain loves some wrestling. I remember back in the day when they had The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was the last time that I thought that wrestling was really, really good. And then they went through, I mean, nothing to take away from John Cena. I think John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. 17-time world champion. He passed Ric Flair. But I think that wrestling was down for a while, but now they've always found a way to integrate themselves into the pop culture in some way, and it fuses well. And forgive me if it doesn't fuse well right off the bat here with football and sports, but it does. It does fuse well. I love the idea of having from Fanatics you can get these WWE belts that have the Lions logo on it, or if you're a Dirty Packer fan, then you can get one with the Packer logo on it. But wrestling has taken a turn for the good. They've had a good developmental system. They've had other brands that have been made like AEW and TNA, and some really good wrestlers end up going to other places and honing their craft and coming back, and the WWE really just does such a phenomenal job at entertaining the masses, and building up big fight feel, and I know that's not real, but there are parts of it that are real. Okay, so John, can I ask you a question about if I can ask you a question about the link. Now, did that link show up like 5 times, John Herman? Did that link show up like a lot? Because I put it up thinking that it wasn't going up. So if you could answer that for me, that'd be cool. But in the wrestling talk here, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to lose all my piece, but I do want to be able to talk about wrestling sometimes, especially on days like this where there is a pay-per-view tonight. And, you know, I remember back in the day when you would want to watch a wrestling pay-per-view, you wanted to watch it live. I mean, you had to pay like, you know, $49. So, you know, my friends and I, you know, we get like 10, 20 people together over at a house and everybody chip in like $5. And we watched the wrestling pay-per-views together. But now it's not that. I mean, you just got to have a Peacock subscription and you can watch all the pay-per-views live. So I just kind of wanted to just give you an idea. But, you know, what the card is tonight. And you know, they got some good things going on. So you got Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight versus Penta versus Seth Rollins versus Andrade and El Grande Americano. So sometimes they surprise with those, but the smart money would be on picking either Seth Rollins or like Solo Sikoa in that, because those are the ones that are like the mainstays. But there might be the surprise. Who would be the surprise in that? I don't know. LA Knight might surprise and win that thing. Yeah. LA Knight, yeah. Penta is very exciting. He seems to be over when it comes to the Lucha Libres. And Andrade, I really like the new Andrade since he's came back. His music's pretty badass coming in there. But I don't know. Does anybody follow it enough to make a prediction on there? Or is this something that's brand new? Okay, but it is there. That's cool. But okay, well, if I'm not getting any love on the on talking the wrestling for tonight, I'm not going to force that down your throat. As we get into this, we don't have to get in there. But I got through the 3 main topics that I wanted to get to right there, because I think that if Ennis Rakestraw, what's up? Broski Bear's in the house. He's shouting it out. Are you shouting out wrestling? Money in the Bank? Are you Money in the Bank? Okay, Central Scrutinizer says Money in the Bank. Broski Bear, I think that shout out might be like, is that an okay to talk about wrestling? I'm okay to talk about wrestling. But I just want you guys to know that I am going to be talking a little bit about wrestling. I am going to throw some stuff out there on, especially around the pay-per-views, and especially some of the stuff that comes to the 313, because the 313 villain does do that. Ric Flair was whack. He was in the minor league. Man, yeah, you got some spicy opinions. Ric Flair, maybe he wasn't the greatest guy, but yeah, set the 16 times, baby. But that's all right. But before I go, I just wanted to say this. It's faith, family, and then football in that order. And if you got all the three lined up, then you're winning even before kickoff. So every Lion fan riding with us in 2025, just know we lost our tank. We lost both of our coordinators. And you can't break what refuses to bend. The Lions aren't just built tough, they're anti-fragile. And the more pressure you apply, then the better they get. This has been the Villain Report. And just so you know that the villain title is earned. Because if you can be so badass for so long that they end up hating you, I may not be a bad guy. I just say some stuff that makes the weak uncomfortable. My name is Russell Wayne. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.